May nothing evil cross this door.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the NUUC Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are glad you are here. My name is Lehne Leverette, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm your worship associate for today. This is a come as you are congregation, and you are welcome here just as you are. I want to extend a special welcome to any visitors. We would love to stay connected, so please sign up for communication at the main entrance. Here at NUUC UU, we foster a beloved community that celebrates diversity, strives for peace and justice, acts mindfully for the good of the planet, and inspires spiritual growth through a free and loving search for truth and meaning. We honor the ground we walk upon and acknowledge this land as the traditional and ancestral homeland of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. We recognize and honor the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land, and vow to reconcile the deep wounds that still shape our world today. So today we're having our kids' Christmas choir first rehearsal. It's from 11:15 to noon. Parents and kids join us for the children's Christmas choir rehearsal. We're gonna prepare for a joyful December 15th performance. And for more info or to sign up, contact Cherry. She's right there. Yeah. We're also having our young adult gathering today, noon to 2. They're going to have a potluck. Please bring a dish to share. And you can, let's see, Kat Alexander and Clay Roper also invite you to an adult show and tell. What hobbies or passions do you have? Bring something that tells more about you as we enjoy connecting in a relaxed and supportive setting. Oh, also today, there's going to be a chamber music choir. From 4 to 5:15. It's hosted by Andrea Van Nest, who is right there in the sanctuary right here. They're going to be doing Mozart, Haydn, Dvorak, and more. And admission is a free will donation, and the proceeds go to NUUC's Music Fund. We're also having our Transgender Day of Remembrance interfaith service. It's going to be on the 20th at 7 p.m. at the First Congregational Church, UCC. That is at 800 North Lincoln Avenue here. We're once again going to partner with First Congregational and others as we remember those killed because of their gender this past year. Join us as we hold the trans community with affirming love and care. Next Sunday, we're going to be doing time in the important non-urgent zone. What's that? Yeah, I like that. Join worship associates Doug Stewart and Scott Walker as our guides, and we're going to have some special music by Herb Oral, Kate McCracken, Pat McCracken, Steve Nye, Katie Fox, and Janet Gillette. Of course, we're having our fabulous coffee hour after the service today in the building right back there. And of course, if you don't know, that's where to go to the bathroom too. So joys and sorrows. If you have a brief personal joy or sorrow that you'd like to share in today's service, but don't want to come to the mic, please write it down on the form at the entrance or on a piece of paper to be collected by the ushers during the offering. And shouldn't have to tell you to do this, but please silence your cell phones. Uh, and many thanks to everyone involved in the service today.
Just going to move this over here for now. Good morning, my friends. It is wonderful to be with you this morning. We're using this unusual setup one more Sunday before we put it back to its traditional setting, but so many of you have mentioned how you really enjoy seeing each other, and now we actually have a choir loft. So we do have, so for our ushers, we do have a little bit more room over here, and we do have some room here in the front, and of course there's plenty of room up in the balcony as well. So today, as we gather, we come to commemorate the Transgender Day of Remembrance, which is in 3 days, as you heard in the announcements. I hope you join us at First Congregational on Wednesday. We come also to commemorate and celebrate Native American Heritage Month. And today, as our choir sings Meet Me Here from an oratorio called Considering Matthew Shepard, we remember the life and death of Matthew Shepard. A heavy day, indeed, but not only, for it is also a day that we remember coming home to the light. So let us begin with these opening words by Joan Javier Duval. Lay it down.
Here is where you can lay it down. Lay down all that you have carried, the weight of the world that has rounded your back, leaving you aching and exhausted.
Here is where healing begins, where burdens are set down, and alongside one another's, their magnitude does not seem quite so great.
Here is where the door is thrown open and the light can lift away the shadows, and what was hidden can now be seen.
And here is where you can rest, where there is nothing expected, but that you will bring all of who you are into the presence of the holy and of this loving community. So come, my friends, here in this moment, let us begin our worship together by sharing our affirmation. You can see it on the screens. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now I invite you to turn to those around you and share the love. Greet each other and good morning. Okay.
We changed it.
To congregation.
I forgot. I'm like
Obviously,
church.
we didn't get it on the slide. So. Yeah, this is my friend Dave. He's my friend. He's really nice. This is Boston, Blake, and Blair. so excited. We have quite a gathering of children today. Woohoo! That's wonderful. Including my own grandchildren, if you were wondering why these were a little glued to me, which makes me joyful, so you have to put up with me being grandma and your minister at the same time. So I'd like to share with you a great story, and if you would like to come, actually, the best pictures are going to be on the screen today. So maybe you want to just stay where you're at, and so you can look on the screen and see the pictures, okay? So this is a story called Remember, and it is written by Joy Harjo, who is the United States Poet Laureate, and also Native American. So anyhow, here we go. Remember the sky you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon. Can you think about the moon? It's been full. It's beautiful. Remember the moon and know who she is. And remember the birth of the sun at dawn. Can you imagine the sunrise coming up? That is the strongest point of time. And remember sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth and how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. And remember your father, for he is your life also. And remember the earth. Can you imagine digging your hands into the earth right now? Whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. And remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes. They have their tribes and they have their families and their histories too. Talk to them and listen to them. Do you ever talk to the trees or the plants or the animals? They will listen. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Can we make some wind sound? Remember the wind. Remember her voice, for she knows the origin of this universe, that wind. The origin of the universe is in the wind. And remember, all is in motion. Are you in motion right now? There's always some wiggling going on. We're all in motion, even when we think we're in stillness. We are growing. And this motion is you. And remember that you are this universe. And this universe is you. May it be so. Amen. The last word is remember. Will you remember that? Well, we're going to sing you out so you can go play. Do you want to remember that? Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Let's rise. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. Go right there to Janet. The Spirit of God surround you everywhere, everywhere. Great.
This is a circle of healing by Starhawk. We are all longing to go home, to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned. We can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere, there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere, a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter, a circle of healing, a circle of friends. Someplace where we can be free. I light this chalice for the light of our community, a place where we can be at home and where we can be free. Yeah, thanks God.
Thank you, Lehne. I just want to mention the symbolism of the 4 pillar candles. We are in 4 quadrants, and I should put a 5th one for the choir, sorry. But we are coming together, each of our light, to kindle the flame of the chalice. So may each of those candles symbolize each and every one of us in our individual lights. Each week, we have the joy of supporting not only this congregation, but the way that we live our values in the world from your generosity. In addition to supporting this church, this congregation, half of your donations also support a nonprofit organization, helping us to make a difference beyond our walls. And you are always very generous with this, by the way. For the months of November and December, our donations are supporting the Teepee Raisers, an organization that makes a powerful difference in the world through their work in partnership with Native people on Lakota, Dene, and Hopi lands. This is an organization that is personally very near and dear to my heart, and we are honored to have the Teepee Raisers Executive Director, Dave Ventimiglia, with us today to tell us more. Dave? You want to speak from here? I know. I know. I know. It's my fault.
Good morning. Good?
I think so. They can adjust it.
Good morning. Thank you for the words, and I looked up there and to see the Teepee Raisers. Just thank you for that, for inviting me in to speak briefly. When you leave here, you'll look across the street, and most of you are going to see a 24-foot flatbed trailer that's loaded with 4 cords of firewood. There's 16 boxes of food for 16 different families, meat in the coolers, fresh vegetables, et cetera, et cetera. None of that happened without volunteers over the last couple of weeks, cutting, splitting firewood, loading, et cetera, donating money for the gas that goes up there and the gas that we pay for tribal members and their wages as they distribute. And it's more complicated than that, and so a minute or two on that. When I drive onto the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation later on today, I'm going to drive through the old liquor town of White Clay, Nebraska, and then I'll come on to Pine Ridge. And there's a sign there that's been there for 20 years. It was painted by Tom Poorbear, the former vice president of the tribe, and the sign says, "Death to the white man." And although I know most of us, maybe all of us, understand the effects of generational trauma and broken treaties, I think we would all agree that the sign is complicated, and if Loveland had signs that were announcing our concern and resentment and hatred, death to the white man, death to the black man, death to the immigrants who are taking our jobs, death to MAGA, death to the Democrats, if that was our practice, I think we can all understand that that's not helpful. And I'll be driving by the sign that says death to the white man. If it's not obvious, I'm a white man.
With a tan.
With a tan.
With a tan. Because you work outside all the time.
I also know that when I distribute the boxes of food to the families across the reservation, some of the young people, the young men, the young women, and I call them my nephews and my nieces, and I love them deeply, but I also know that the food and the firewood itself can be poison. Because part of what happens is the young men receive that food and that firewood, and some of them are less motivated to help their families because they know we won't let them starve. And we know when it gets cold, they know that we know when it gets cold that we'll bring firewood up. And so that gets complicated. I also know that most of the wood in the trailer comes from wealthy landowners here that have, instead of paying for their beetle kill trees to be cut and hauled away and paying the landfill fees, our volunteers go and cut and split and load the firewood. And so in some ways, the value of the wood, and this happens with coats and mattresses and some food, canned food, the value to the people of giving is actually greater than the value that the people who are receiving get. The firewood that's in that trailer will be gone in a week. But the benefit to the people who have given that wood actually lasts and is worth thousands of dollars. And so in some ways what happens is that people, whomever, can look good and selfless when actually it's a really selfish act. And so it's complicated. The money that's donated, the trailer that's out there, the food, the firewood, how it's given and how it's received is complicated. And so I'm here to thank you for whatever is gifted to us. I'm here to thank you for that. My message is not to turn our back on that, but it's more complicated than that. And my request to this community, to this church, is that, and especially to the young people, is that there is a handful of people here who roll up your sleeves and dive into this. Beyond the simple act of generosity, because the truth is, the problem on the reservations has been going on for over 100 years, 130 years. There are good people involved in it, and the death to the white man sign stands. And sometimes simple solutions to complicated problems actually don't work. And so my request is that the community mobilize in whatever ways you're able to, but understand that the problem is confounding and complicated. So thank you for your simple gifts, and also a request that there's a more complicated, complex, difficult response.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. And that complicated response from us can be working in partnership with teepee raisers to support them and to work shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand with Native people on the reservation. That's where healing begins. May we make it so. I invite us to sing during our offering, "How Could Anyone?" And let's think of all those who have been oppressed. or who are oppressed and suffering.
I don't think the lyrics made it on the screen, but
Oh,
it's in your green hymnal 1052.
sorry about that. Thank you. I thought I put them in there. Thank you to each and every one of you for all the ways that you help support this congregation and our work in the world. Thank you. And each Sunday, we come together to share our lives and to care for each other through all that life brings. So if you happen to have a personal, brief personal, thank you, joy or sorrow that you would like to share, I think what might be easier today is for me to bring the microphone to you rather than having everybody try to come up. Does that sound okay, everyone? So if you have a personal brief joy or sorrow you would like to share, just raise your hand and I will bring you the microphone, and may we respond with, we hold you in our hearts. Thank you. And those of you on Zoom, please put your comments in the chat and our Zoom host will share them with us later. Thank you. John? Here you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been up here too many times, but today is special because I'm not going to cry. Feels good. But listening to the bringer of this story of the raisers of teepees reminded me of this feeling I've had for some time, and it kind of combines joy and sorrow. But I'll just say that we're all indigenous. And I believe that we've all lost touch with our indigeneity, and it's recovering that's the difficult journey of unity that this gathering has brought to me most clearly. So, in praise of our indigeneity, thank you.
Thank you, John. We hold you in our hearts. Thank you. Others? So good to see you.
I'm Karen Roper. Some of you don't know me because you've come since I was not able to come, and some of you have forgotten who I am.
I didn't forget.
But I'm so glad to be able to be back in this village, and hope that it's going to be able to be here more. Thank you.
Wonderful. So good to see you.
Oh,
So
thank
glad
you.
you're back.
Too.
We hold you in our hearts.
Thank you.
We hold you in our hearts. Thank you. Others? Oh, Janet.
I'm Janet, and I'm very thankful for the folks who have signed up to come to Thanksgiving to share. a meal, a potluck meal, and to let you know that there is still room. So the more the merrier. But thank you to my dear loving friends, my dear loving friends who will be coming.
Yeah, wonderful. And we hold you in our hearts, and we hold all who will be at Thanksgiving here in our hearts. Thank you. Others?
I'm Vicki, and I just have to say, what a joy it is to be in this circle and see how full our teepee is.
Nice. Great. Thank you. We hold you in our hearts, which means we hold all of us in our hearts. Beautiful. Great. Thanks.
Yeah, so we kind of have both a joy and a sorrow. Many of you may know, but we're expecting our second kiddo in February. So that's the joy. The sorrow is on Monday, we got news that one of our dogs is diagnosed with cancer.
Oh,
And he has basically a check-in with CSU veterinary on Monday, so we're just kind of hoping there's less bad news there. So yeah, both things.
oh, wow. That's a lot, Curtis.
Yeah, thank you.
We hold you in our hearts with all your joys and with all your sorrows. Thank you. Yeah. Others?
Hi, my name is Kai. This is only my second time here. I just recently got diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And in a way, it wasn't a surprise because it's been obvious there's been something going on with my brain for a while. But I feel like I'm still in shock. There's nothing to do but just as much as I can keep my attention on God, just pure spirit, and let go into it. And I want to thank you all for being here and for doing what you're doing, because it's very, very healing, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kai. We hold you in our hearts. We're here. We're here for you. Thank you. I'm glad you're a part of our community. Thank you for being here. You're each welcomed with loving, open arms by, thank you. To the rescue again. It would have been funny. But yeah. Yeah. Anyhow, any others? Anything on Zoom? Okay, great. I'm going to move this out of the way. I know it's so much easier when you're just standing on the stage kind of area. But this is meaningful for us to be together like this. So as we come together, as we hold each other in our hearts, I love being down here so I can be with you and look you in the eye and walk around and see you. I invite us into a spirit of meditation and prayer. Let us take a moment to connect with the elements of life, moving within and around us. Air, let us breathe it in and let it go. And again, let it breathe it in and let it go. And as we remain mindful of our breathing, let us give thanks for this gift of life in each and every moment. This breath, this gift of life. And the earth, feel your feet beneath you. The gift of gravity and the weight of the earth, rooting you here and giving you solid ground to rest upon. Feel the earth, the ground you are on. And let us think of water, mini wikoni. Water is life. Water is alive. Water is sacred. Feel this flow within. From tears to blood and sweat, it is the great life connection with all. Water. And fire, the great transformer, burning within and around us, the very spark of life that animates all, warming and nurturing. Dear elements, precious beyond all else, given freely by the earth and the sun, this is the original expression of love. We feel our deepest gratitude for this great beauty of you. When our hearts are heavy with grief, we remember all the ways you hold us. And when we suffer and heartbreak overtakes us, let us return to this elemental relationship, endlessly held together in the embodiment of love. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding me. We rest in this love. May it be so. Amen.
On October 6th, 1998, a young man named Matthew Shepard attended a meeting of the University of Wyoming LGBT Association and then joined some people for coffee at the College Inn. It was a Tuesday. Around 10:30 p.m., he went to the Fireside Bar and later met Aaron McKinney and Russell Henderson. Near midnight, they drove him to a remote area, tied him to a buck and rail fence, beat him horribly, and left him. The next morning, he would be discovered by a cyclist who mistaked him for a scarecrow. He would die 6 days later. As the news spread, there was outrage and sorrow. And there were protests. Unfortunately, even at his funeral. And many gathered together across the country to hold vigil, moved to speak life over death, love over hate, light over darkness. Craig Hella Johnson was inspired by the messages of hope through tragedy. And in 2016, he composed the full concert work, Considering Matthew Shepard. The text and libretto are filled with words from his own family. The piece we will sing now, entitled Meet Me Here, is a pivotal movement from the larger work and takes the first step from a difficult story and asks the question, where do I go from here? The composer writes that at its core, Meet Me Here is a folk-style hymn which invites the participants to be open to meeting at a place which may seem difficult or painful, and to be open to discovering the healing and joy which can be experienced when we lay down the ancestral sorrow we may have been carrying for generations and open ourselves to finding the healing together, excluding no one. Meet me here. Won't you meet me here? Where the old fence ends and the horizon begins.
Meet me here. Won't you meet me here? Where the old fence ends and the horizon begins. There's a balm in the silence, like an understanding air, where the old fence ends and the horizon begins. We've been walking through the darkness on this long, hard climb, carried ancestral sorrow for too long a time. Will you lay down your burden, lay it down, come with me. It will never be forgotten, held in love so tenderly. Meet me here, won't you meet me here, where the old fence ends and the horizon begins. There's a joy in the singing, like an understanding air, where the old fence ends and the horizon begins. Then we'll come to the mountain, we'll go bounding to see that great circle of dancing, and we'll dance endlessly, and we'll dance with all the children who've been lost along the way. We will welcome each other, coming home this glorious day. gently understand that we've been friends forever, that we've never been alone. We'll sing on through any darkness, and our song will be our side. We can learn to offer praise again, coming home to the light.
We are home in the mountain, and will gently understand that we've been friends forever, that we've never been alone. We'll sing on through darkness, and our song will be our sight. We can learn to offer praise again, coming home to the light. I know it's already been a very heavy, grief-filled couple of weeks for many of us. And I was telling myself, I didn't want to bring you more today. I understand. And yet, here it is. Here it is again. And going back to what Dave was talking about, I have to mention every human being, whether they be Native, whether they be gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, two-spirit, whether they be a man or a woman, however they identify, whatever color of their skin, they deserve an oratorio. And they deserve to be held in the beautiful love and light of this music. And they are not. How can we ever feel good about life again? I have to ask. Do any of you ask that question? I hope it's not just me. How can we as, or our loved ones or humans that we don't even know experience senseless violence wrought from the monster of hatred and bigotry? And I know it's deep on our hearts because we're worried of what is to come. And now to commemorate the atrocities from our present and our past, it just feels like too much. So I'm going to be honest with you. I have this impulse to run away. Because I do not feel that I can handle the heartbreak. And to what end? My hearing of them doesn't change the outcome, and I don't need this pain in my life. Anybody ever respond that way? To acknowledge the atrocities from hatred and bigotry, my friends, is to acknowledge the anticipation of more to come. And I'm struggling with this. But reading through the lyrics to considering Matthew Shepard, as heart-wrenching as it was, is also a reminder of our great superpower that each and every one of us was gifted by the earth, by the sun, by life itself. And that is the power of love. It reminds me that to turn away is to turn my back. Turn my back on the interconnected web of life that is us, and that is also death. It is turning my back on the one gift that we can give, witnessing, holding, caring enough about others to override the impulse to turn away and run away, and instead sit and be in the pain and heartache with families and loved ones for those who are suffering. For they need us to stay strong, but not a strength that denies their experience. To pretend that we are not affected, but it is those who are affected the most who often show us the light, to learn to come from a place of love, even when it hurts the most. This is the only way, together, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder. This is how we come home to the light. Dave talked about the complexity of giving donations, and I hope you do support their work, because Dave, day in and day out, is chopping wood, is hauling supplies up to Pine Ridge. And Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what I'm hearing you say too is that this is not the most important part of your work, but the reconciliation and the finding our way towards healing, not for us, but for the people that have suffered the great generational trauma over and over again. How can we show up for them in a way that helps them heal? That's the great question. The great question that we don't have the answer to. We have to listen to them. We have to partner with them. We have to work hand in hand with them, shoulder to shoulder. Not with us saying, oh yeah, we're the white guys, we know all the answers, here, let me tell you what to do. No. By stepping back, by putting them in the center and giving them the lead. And we listen. And we listen. And we listen to their anger. Like when my second visit to Pine Ridge Indian Reservation with Dave, I was driving my Honda CRV all over the res with a Native woman named Mary. And Mary is quite a character. And Mary has a lot of anger. I felt her anger. And she lashed out at me a few times. And she held me accountable as a white person. And then we went to Wounded Knee. And she told the story, which I hope you can hear her tell, of her grandmother or her grandfather who remembers the massacre at Wounded Knee when he was in the belly of his mother in 1890. Dave, was that on Christmas Day or the day after? It's like, okay, December 29th. Yeah. 1890. And how they all had to flee. And she showed me, telling me this story as we're standing on the edge of the mass grave. I know, I want to run away. And yet, the most important thing for me to do at that moment was to be there, to witness, to hear her anger, hear her heartbreak, hear her speaking on behalf of her ancestors, and to witness being with her and giving her my love through it all. Repair cannot begin until there is an acknowledgement of the truth with all of its pain and its suffering. So by not turning away and by holding the person silently with our love, we can help the process of repair to begin. By holding space for the truth, together we can begin to see glimmers of light that we bring to one another. And this is where this singing begins. The singing of grief, the singing that brings us back to joy. So my friends, I know this takes powerful courage. I know it does. And it's asking a lot. And where do we find this courage not to be overwhelmed by fear and anguish? We find it in the only place that holds the light, the very essence of the elements, love. This is the original love of life itself. It is the love of humans who lift each other up even when we are broken. This is the place where the old fence ends and the horizon begins. There's a joy in the singing, like an understanding air, where the fence ends and the horizon begins. If your grief is too strong, if your anger and fear shroud you in a cloud, we are here for you, and we are here together, holding your hand, witnessing, listening. We are holding the space for repair to begin when the time is right for you. That place where we think we cannot go. That place of darkness that we wish to avoid. If we enter with love, we find ourselves and we find the greatest strength in the universe. Hatred, my friends, is dark and weak. If we lose the light, we lose our song, and we do not know how to grieve. Love is the deepest truth that binds us all as one, that can accept where each person is at on their journey. Together, love is how we get through the darkness. Together, love is how we get through the darkness. So remember that you are not alone. Love is big enough to hold this whatever this is. You are not alone, in case you didn't hear me. Love is big enough to hold this. You say it with me? You are not alone. Love is big enough to hold this. We are holding each other in love, and we will not stop. And this is how repair begins. With our hearts filled with love, I invite you to join me in remembering so many who have been lost. I invite you to respond with, we remember them. With hearts filled with love, we remember Matthew Shepard. We remember them. With hearts filled with love, we remember the transgender people who have suffered and died from hate crimes year after year. We remember them. With hearts filled with love, we remember the thousands of Indigenous women who are missing and murdered year after year. We remember them. With hearts filled with love, we remember the thousands of Indigenous children who suffered and died in boarding schools. We remember them. And for all who are not mentioned but are on our hearts, we remember them. And with these words, we release the sorrow. Let it go. And as we let it go, the space begins for a quiet song. A new invitation emerges. There is opening now for healing and for joy to return. So come, my friends, in this place of love and in this place of belonging. May light, my light, is joining your light. My light is joining your light. Can you say it with me? My light is joining your light. Each and every one of you, even up there in the balcony. As the song says, we'll sing on through any darkness, and our song will be our sight. We can learn to offer praise again, coming home to the light. May we rest in this light together, and may we remake the world together in love. May it be so. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. I invite us to, with our hearts, rise in body or spirit, and let's sing together, My Life Flows On. Do you want to sing? Okay. My life flows on in endless song of others' lamentations. I hear the rhythm of the far-off hymn
to them are revealed, when friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
Oh, you sound so beautiful, my friends. I invite you to reach out and connect with those around you in whatever way feels comfortable to you as I share these closing words. And these closing words today are from the final song in Considering Matthew Shepard, a song called All of Us. Most noble light, creation's face, how should we live but join in you, remaining within your saving grace? Through all we say and do, and know we are the love that moves the sun and the stars. O love that dwells, O love that burns in every human heart. This evergreen, this heart, this soul, now moves us to remake our world, reminding us how we are to be your people born to dream. How old this joy, how strong this call to sing your radiant care with every voice in cloudless hope of belonging here. Only in love, only all of us. What could be the song and where do we begin? Only in love. Love that lifts us up. May we be that love, my friends, that lifts us up. All of us, together, always. May it be so. Amen.
Like mouthing the words. It'll be back.